Hello. Welcome back, everyone. We're actually going to jump right into this. On Tuesday, we worked on the environment that we were going to use for our murder demo. And honestly, I think it's pretty much there. There'll have to be some light baking that happens between here and now. But honestly, for the most part, it might even just be safe kind of disabling lightings for now. Or, yeah, we'll see what happens. But, excuse me. We should be able to get this up and playable in a way that people can kind of jump in and play around with the tooling on Patreon. And then we can actually have an outputted version of this thing at one point. Hold on one second. I'm actually getting a phone call. There we go. My apologies. I've been having some difficulties convincing my apartment complex that my renter's insurance is real. And, well, figured out why. It's basically just the renter's insurance company being, like, very confused. But not why we're here today. We're going to be getting game mode stuff working. Alright. Let's see. Building houses real. Yeah, okay, that's the frame for the environment. So, what we need to do from here is basically set up things that the game mode of murder does. So, we need a murder weapon, or just the knife. We need clues placed around the environment that people can interact with and acquire, and getting 5 of those will let you spawn a gun. So let's start with the prop spawning, actually. So let's go here. We'll do weapons. Should this be in weapons? Yeah. So we'll just have a new script, weapon spawner. We already have a script called weapon spawns that I made last time. We'll probably switch some stuff around and honestly probably not use that one specifically. Excuse me. I have a lot of clearing my throat that I'm doing today. But yeah, let's look at this. What we've got here is the weapon spawner and the weapon spawn script. Weapon spawns we probably don't actually care about. It's the spawner that we're going to be building out. Essentially, this is going to have a object pool of all the weapons that can be in this environment, and you can request one to be spawned at a position. So we are going to need a required component type of VRC objects pool. There we go. And a private VRC object pool. Then in start, just grab that. Object pool. All right, with that, let's go ahead and set up the components in the scene. So we're going to have a pistol pool. So this will be all the pools that, this will be all the pistols that you can get from this. So we'll need the prefab weapon pistol. And reset that position in here. Just make 20 of them. Yeah, that 20 works good. Pop it in there. And weapon spawner in here, we'll have a public void request. Request weapon. This will have a position and a rotation, probably. Oh, man. Excuse me for the coughing today. So, request weapon will be a networked event, so... network callable. Let's just put that at... default of 5 is fine. We'll have a vector 3 position. And... yeah, we'll do a vector 3 per rotation as well. So we will do game object obj equals pool dot request. Yeah. All right. Try to spawn. That's it. I'm working in a lot of different formats right now, so I never quite remember what all the names are for everything. So if we don't get something, so all the guns have been spawned, we'll just return. And we'll do this obj.transform.set position and rotation, position, whoop. And rotation. Oh wait, this will be Quaternion Euler rotation. So let's see here. This is just setting the position, but all of our weapons are synced with an object sync. So we'll see if VRC object sync equals obj.getComponent object sync. And if there's a sync component on it, we'll do sync.teleport2 position. Does object sync not have a teleport 2 that takes a vector 3? Alright, in that case we will just do a flag discontinuity after we set its position. And that should force it to the right spot. I never realized you couldn't teleport a object sync without having a transform reference for it. That feels odd, but fine, whatever. So we need this thing to do certain things when the game starts and ends. And by that, I mean we need a callback for when the game ends, we want to put all the guns away. And when the game starts, we want to, well, reset all the guns. So, base game system, this should have some callbacks. Do we not have a built-in game state change to listener yet? If not, that would be very useful. Yeah, we'll protected virtual void on game start, and we'll have another one of those for on game end. I thought for sure I had some kind of subscription system for those events. I guess I'm just wrong. Odd. Alright. So in that case, honestly, I think I can swap this from these to just on game states changed, and then call game state. So we need a way for our game system to know about all of the components of the scene that need to have that subscription to them. Actually, in our base armory thing, we're already inheriting on this. So we can add or remove listeners that way. Because here we already have a reference to our game system. Move this over here. We'll let's close that. Don't need game lobby open. Don't care about the weapon spawns. Alright, there we go. So we need to do a subscription system over here for that. Public void, nope, public data list. Well, this will be private. Game state listeners. And we'll have a public void subscribe to game state. This will pass in a base armory behavior. And we want to not add this if it's already in there. Is this doing any kind of update loop or not? I don't think it is. Subscribe to game state. We're actually going to have a secondary set for listeners to instant listeners to add. The reason we're doing that is because we don't want to adjust the size of this array for any particular reasons while we're having it. If we're ever iterating through it, we don't want it to change dramatically. I think for now should be fine. If it runs into an issue, I know the implementation, so I can go ahead and do that. So if listeners that contains behavior return, but it's already there. Game state listeners dot add behavior. Public void unsubscribe to game state base armory behavior, and we're gonna invert this exclamation point remove. All right, so in all the on enables we'll do game system. Subscribe this. And inversely, we'll do unsubscribe this. Perfect. So now we have on game state changed. That will let us go back to our weapon spawner over here. Again, that's the whole reason we did this. Which used to be a base armory behavior. Base.state. So this will be if state equals. We'll switch state. The throw error isn't exposed, so we'll just do a break after a debug log warning. State is not implemented on game and object name. Passing this as context. So we want to reset all the positions of, well, reset all these things during the post round. But honestly, only if you're the owner. So if owner is local, return, and then we'll invert that. And we'll have a void reset all. We'll do another safety check in here, and then for each pool.pool obj pool.return obj. Honestly, we should do a if obj.active self. Because I think we might get some errors thrown if we're trying to return an object that is already back in the object pool. It won't be an error, it'll be warnings, but I'd prefer not to have a bunch of logging for that. Alright, we'll just reset things when we get to the lobby. And in pre-round, we will... I don't think this system will naturally have any spawns. So it won't immediately spawn anything in any places, but we can have things that do request those spawns, which is honestly a good use for the weapon spawns behavior I made over here. On game state changed. We want if state equals pre-round turn does not equal. So during the pre-round, we want to spawn a bunch of stuff in places. So we'll do a serialized field of a private weapon spawner array. Maybe this one will just have one for spawner, and then array of transforms. Spawn positions. So then in here, we'll do you just make sure you're the owner of this thing. Why do I have owner in the base armory behavior, but not the net armory behavior? Because that seems like a much more appropriate location for it. Yeah, because the thing I actually care about in these isn't whether the owner of this object is local, it's whether the owner of the game is local. What else is down here? This is trying to serialize manual. Okay. Yeah, okay. This can just be cleaned up actually. Okay, so let's go to net armor behavior init. Does this have an init set up already? No. And it has a few additional things on it, but primarily it has all these network event things here, which don't seem to quite work the way I wanted them to. So we'll probably have to look into that more in the future. But like, I don't know. All right, so here I want to check to see if game system owner so if I want to access the owner for this, okay, yeah, that needs to be part of this as well. Net armory behavior. There we go. Snag that up. So if we're checking in here, base armory behavior. Why are you checking for ownership? If owner is local and local equals that. This puts the offset locally. I don't think this should ever matter, because you're checking to see if the target entity is the local player. So you would always be that person, if that's true. Alright, that's that simple. One thing that we need to do on here, we'll have a wrapper for the is owner. Oh, this is owner. Okay, so this is grabbed in the on ownership transfer. Okay, so that will always be updated correctly. In that case, we'll do a public bool is owner, and we'll just return the is owner. What's the is local check? I thought I had that. I think is local is just Yeah, okay. Is local is the VRChat one. Is owner is the one that I'm doing for this. All right. So during the pre-round, we want to spawn a bunch of stuff with these positions. For each spawn position, spawn. We will do a spawner dot request weapon. Actually have this be public void request weapon network. That way we have a on-script wrapper for these. And since we're doing a wrapper, we can actually just have a transform point for this. So we'll do a send custom event, send custom network event, name, oh wait, no, this goes to owner. Name of request weapon network with a point dot position, point dot rotation. Now, this system over here already requires you to be the owner of the game system to run this. And we are requesting a weapon over the network. The reason that we're doing that is because we don't actually need to here, but this system goes and is how anyone will request a weapon. So let's say, for example, you got the 5 clues and that spawns your pistol or whatever. Well, you're the one telling other people, hey, I want to spawn a pistol here. And you're essentially going to be telling the user who internally is running the game to put something there. And this just lets us have all of that infrastructure ready ahead of time. That army behavior because we're networked. So we do care about ownership. Let's go ahead. Networking. There we go. Set owner. Local player OBJ. That'll force everything to be reset. Then we can go from here. This is spawning the stuff at the start of the game. So let's actually go ahead and try this out. So the weapon spawner is the container essentially for all of the specific like pistol. So design support having based methods. Where did I do this? Ah, okay. We need to put this in a init instead of start. All right, so we have our object pool here of all of the pistols that will be spawning. And I'm going to set up the spawn location thing. We'll just unlock that. Reset position. Weapon spawns. We'll reference this spawner. Spawn positions. Let's go ahead and spawn. Just put a bunch of ones in there. Yeah, we'll just put them around this room in various locations. Alright, so that should let us spawn a bunch of these props, or I guess the pistols here, into this environment. So let's go ahead. Let's hit play and see if anything works. Oh right, we need to actually be able to start the game, which means I have to move this stuff over into the game. Let's get rid of these example assets. Can actually store the weapons in places that make sense for it. So let's see, start game button. This is start game. This is add player to game. Okay, add player to game. Button. Remove player from game button. I think I'll actually use these instead of the lobby area just for testing purposes. There's a few wacky things about this situation that we're setting up here, because this system notices after 1 second if nobody is alive in the game, and if one team is supposed to win. And if this happens, well, the game ends. Because if there's no traitors left alive, or murderers, or whatever your thing is, the innocents just win. And inversely, the bad guys win. So I think what I'll actually do for this is I'll go to the... where is the game manager here that we have? Game lobby, this is just a lobby trigger, handling that. Canvas, armory players. This under essentials. Oh no, it's game manager. TDM game system. So what we need is see listeners. Yep, okay. So this automatically ends the game if it doesn't find anyone alive. So system TTT. Okay, this is the one that's actually implemented. So I'll drop this. Search TTT, prop it in. Game start time. Round duration. I want minimum game length. Round duration, game lapse time. Because I'm pretty sure that happens here somewhere. It isn't just instant. Set game state mid-round. Okay, that's why we're that's why it happens. Okay, so we need to set a pre-round duration. We'll just set that to be 10 seconds by default. I don't like using send custom event delayed seconds for handling game system states, because if the game owner leaves during this time, this transition just never happens. So the game doesn't know how to progress from there. Good morning from Manila, Philippines. Can't wait for the next build to try this out. Yeah, awesome. I'm kind of cramming through this. We should have a demo that we can actually get up and working here at the end of the day. There's a bunch of little changes I've been finding I need to do constantly, but should be fine. Yeah, instead of doing this check here for the mid-round handling, we should instead be doing that in our loop. So if game elapsed time is greater than or equal to pre-round duration, set game state to mid-round. And that is where that gets handled. We don't want this, we do not want this we do not want this happening while the, we don't want this happening in a send custom event delayed seconds again, because if that person leaves, this will never run. Here, if we put it in an update where this loops is happening, we actually get to have a new owner continue with this process. Just want to say hello, back to sleep for me. It's 5:30 a.m. I wish you a great time, a great sleep, and we'll see you around. Good seeing you. Always happy to have you by. Alright, so we have our pre-round duration of 10 seconds. Okay. So, where do we get spawned? So, armory players. I'm pretty sure we get spawned at the start of a game, but I don't remember this, where this gets handled. Armory entity, respawn in-game. Prepare for game. And this is called assign player roles. Okay. So prepare for game calls a respawn in game. The team manager get random spawn. Okay. So the team manager has individual spawns for all this, and all of these are just referencing itself. Okay. In that case, we can turn this around. Just take it forward a little bit. And go from there. So if I hit play, I should be able to walk up, press the blue button and then the green button, and then there should be a bunch of guns on the ground, and then the game ends after a bunch of time. Alright. Add, need to game, start game. Alright, well, immediately noticing that there is, in fact, no guns being spawned. Team instance not found on winners list. I think there's a few things that still need to be fixed here. Project team. Oh, right. Game manager. We need to actually set this. Innocence Brave Tours. So now we need to figure out why this didn't happen. So we're doing spawner request weapon. Send custom network event to the owner. Request weapon network. Cool, try to spawn, supposition. That should be working. Let's run this again. I'll have the console pulled up here. Should run up, press the 2 buttons. Let's click the drop down here so we can see when a specific pistol or another gets enabled. So nothing happened. We're not even getting errors is the thing. Game completion check passed. Okay. Which means that it could be our pool try to spawn. It could be that this never fires. It could be that this never fires. Which shouldn't be true. Oh, games on game state changed. I set up, but I never actually built it to be updated. So set game state. We actually need to iterate that. So we'll have a private void notify listeners. Then we'll for int game state listeners dot length, and each one of these will be a game. It'll be a base game. Nope. What did I call this? Base armory behavior. That's it. Behavior equals passes behavior game state listeners I dot reference. Now we just do behavior dot on changed. What did I call it? Oh, it's protected. Hold on, that needs to be public. There we go. State. There we go. Okay, so that should properly notify everything. Once I fix the errors. There we go. Alright, now that the subscription service is actually responding back to the different listeners, we should be able to hit blue, hit green, and see a bunch of objects. Well, we got a null error, which is a good start. Had incorrect type quaternion. Oh, right. Okay, that's what happens there. Euler angles. Okay. The reason that I'm doing vector 3s for rotation instead of quaternions is it's just one variable less that you need to sync, and syncing anything in VRChat is pretty heavy in terms of just your network load, so we kind of have to be careful with all of it working. So bonk, bonk. Yo, okay, there's a bunch of things on the ground now. Alright, they all work. After 10 seconds, it should kick me out and respawn all this stuff. Which it did. Oh my god, it's working great. I love it. So now that that works, we need to have a... let's see, how do we want to make this? Yeah, so instead of this being a weapon spawner, this should probably just be a object spawner. Because we want to how do we want to do that? Because if we want to do the whole notes thing that murder tends to do, they don't have those notes synced usually. What usually happens is there's a bunch of locations that they can be spawned, and that's all local. So the object pooling for that is just completely local. So I think I'll have an object spawner and an object spawner synced, or yeah, object spawner synced and just an object spawner, which will be completely local. So this will be object spawner synced. Just keep that as that. So we'll go ahead, we will rename this. This will give us a generic system because we'll be spawning more than just weapons with the same things. Click. And we'll have a UNAM behavior for object spawner. And this will essentially be the same system, but not using VRChat's object pool. Not because it's bad, but because it's synced. It's exclusively synced. There isn't a local version of it. Fortunately, object pools are pretty easy to build. So I'm gonna go ahead and just build out one of those. Alright, object spawner. This will be a base armory behavior. I'll have a public game object array objects, and we'll have a serialized. We'll serialize both these fields. And then we'll have a private bool array of active. Go into our init function. Active will equal a bool array of objects.weapon. We should rename this from request weapon to request object. Then we'll go over here and basically do the same system that they have, just with a few more lines of code since it's not going to be networked and we don't have the base for the VRC object. So we'll do a public void request object. I'm realizing now that request object doesn't return anything, which kind of feels incorrect for a request. So we'll do place object. Yeah, okay. So here we'll do place object. And we'll just go through all of them. Transform point. Private int last index. Actually, no. We'll just do this simply. Int index equals array dot index of active, and then false. If index equals -1, which means all objects are spawned, return. Then we want to, how do we want to handle this? We'll do active index equals true. Objects index transform dot set position and rotation point dot position point dot rotation. We want to do the same thing over here where well, this one specifically isn't synced, so we don't really need this handling. Yeah, we won't do that. Instead, just do that, and objects index set active true. Game object obj equals index, and we'll just use that here instead of referencing it. Oops, referencing it in two different spots. All right. With that, we should be able to just place an object here. In that case, we should be able to make our clue spawner. So the clue spawner will be built on top of an object spawner, I think. Or it could be a separate script that interfaces with an object spawner. Well, I guess since our spawning stuff is no longer part of weapons, we can move it out of the weapons folder. Actually, it might even make sense to go ahead and rename this stuff to be prop instead of just object. Place prop no. Okay. So let's go ahead, fix the naming for the Sharp assets. Let's see, it compiles. Spawner. Okay. So now let's go to our demo. Not this demo. I want the other one. House demo. We'll have scripts. Let's have a specific script for clue spawner. So I think clue spawner can inherit from prop spawner. I think that should be fine. So if we do that, we're going to need a minimum number of clues that are active at any given time, because you don't want to look around the entire building for the one clue that's somewhere and suddenly you have to check the entire building after you find one. So have a serialized field private int clues active at once. Let's do 5. Actually, it might make more sense to... Nope, I think having it generic like this is the best way to handle this. There are ways that we could simplify this into something that is a bit more easy, because essentially what is happening is you keep clicking on these clues until you've clicked on, I don't know, 5 of them. And when you do that, when you've clicked all of them, you spawn the thing. Now, what you could do is just have there be 2 clues, or 5 clues, that just keep moving around the map whenever you press it. Which probably would be less code, but I like the idea of building out a more generic spawner, because this lets us do a bit more in the future, instead of making this bespoke for that. I say that we're making a bespoke clue spawner script, but I think it makes sense in this case because what we built out for this is the prop spawner. And we need to do the same cleanup in this as the synced one. So we'll have a reset all. Let's do for select props I dot set active false and active I equals false. Much simpler than the network one. But similarly, we need to grab this, call it from here. I'll actually just do post round or pre-round. And these we'll call reset all. I think I could probably actually get away with doing that here as well. Yeah. Lobby above. Unset above this. Okay, so now that we have this, let's go and actually make the clues that we are going to be spawning, because the clues are going to talk to this thing. I guess, yeah, public void. This needs to take in a clue object and just try spawning a new one. What should that be called? Next clue. Okay, yeah. And we'll make another script here be clue item. over here. A summary behavior. This is simply going to have a serialized field for private clue spawner. And on interact, spawner dot next clue this. Serialized field, we want a private int clue count to spawn object. This will be 5 as well. Private int current count 0 and state changed. Honestly, if the game state changed at all, current count should be 0. No, we don't want that because we want it to yeah, okay. So if we do that, we would lose the ability for someone to grab things during the pre-round. So we'll just switch it. Gonna grab this default set here, and we need to reset this during pre-round, post-round. All the other ones will just put down here. Okay. So pre-round and post-round will reset the count of clues they get. We'll do current count plus. If current count is greater than or equal to clue count to spawn object, we will do a serialized field private prop spawner synced. Weapon spawner. Okay, so we'll just call that there. Weapon spawner dot place prop. We need a transform, but we could also just make a wrapper for this. Okay. Yeah, so now we have a Vector 3 version and that version. So we are going to get right in front of the player. So Vector 3 player pause equals local player dot get position. Then we need to get in front of them, so we'll get a it'll be forward equals local player dot get rotation multiplied by vector 3 dot forward. So it will get us 1 meter in front of them. Honestly, I don't think we should do this. I don't think we should just randomly place it in front of them. I think we should place it at the position of the most recent clue. That makes way more sense. Yep, we'll do that. Prop spawner, we need a set that to be protected. Reset all because you shouldn't be grabbing clues after you've already gotten the thing. Okay, let's change this up here. During the pre-round, during the post-round, we want to remove all the stuff, so set all. But in the pre-round, we want to spawn a new one. Prop spawner. Jaws field, private transform, array, spawn points. The private void, spawn random, int index. This will be an index inside of that. So we'll do a random, nope, not system random. We want a unity engine .random.range doing 0 and spawn points length. So then we'll go and spawn a, yeah, okay. Place prop at spawn points index. Okay, so during the pre-round, we want to do that 5 times. So for clues active at once, spawn random. Then every time we return one, we'll spawn random that. And let's have a public void return an object prop. An int index be array dot index of props prop. If index equals -1, meaning it's not a real prop, we'll return it. Otherwise, we'll do props index set active false. Well, we probably shouldn't care if it's already inactive, so if active that's false. We do want to iterate through all of them at the start, though. For each props, prop, oops, not pro, prop, set active false. That, and then we'll also set active index equal false. So next clue will spawn random, but we also want to return current. Alright, so we should just be able to make a clue system, or just like a bunch of random things. Oh, we still need a wrapper script for the interact. Didn't I do that? Clue item, yeah, clue item here. Where is clue item? Oh, there it is, I'm blind. Alright, spawner next clue, alright. So let's go in here. We'll just have them all be over here. Clue spawner. We'll have a cube. There'll be clue item. I'll move over here. The clue is like this, I guess. That's what it looks like. That's what the government wants you to think clues look like. Clue spawner. Alright, weapon spawn. Oh, okay. Weapon spawns. Grabs from this pool up here. This will pool. There we go. So we'll have 10 in here. 10 props. Spawn points. We can have spawns. Just call it spawn. Alright, so that's a bunch of different spawn locations. Let's lock that in. Put them here at the spawn points. Now, should set down that and everything. Who's active at once? Who count to spawn weapon? Alright, so I should hit play. We should enter the game. 5 of them should spawn. And alright. Add player, start game. Alright, we got 5 spawned. Alright. And game completion check passed. Okay. I'm gonna duplicate these a few times just to try to feel that out, because the first one that I clicked I thought didn't do anything, but I think it actually just spawned one in the same spot twice, which was a little odd, especially for literally the first one that I tried, which is the only reason why I'm a little bit suspicious about it. Right. 5. Alright. Yeah, that all works perfectly. This spawns a synced object, so yeah, and then it should kick me out here pretty shortly. For the game being over. Oh, the game is already over. Okay. Yeah, alright, so we have, I think everything that's needed for, I think we have everything that's actually needed for getting this thing to work. Let's go ahead and actually we'll leave those there and we'll boot up VR chat. Yeah. Okay. So let's boot up 4 clients. Build and test your world. Build and test. And now we wait for this to boot up. Oop, it's opening up on my other monitor. Let's see here. This needs to be my LG monitor. There we go. Alright, everyone's loaded in. We go each of us press add. Everyone's in. Start. Alright. Innocent, Detective, Mike, and another Mike. Wait, that's not right. How did that happen? We should require one trader at all times. There should not be a second Mike. Mike has a 50% chance of existing at all. Why were there two Mikes? There's supposed to be two traders. Dang it, Mike. Mike has percent chance replace. And it replaces innocent. Trader should be exact count. Okay, let's make a new one here for team data murder. This is gonna have very simple stuff. Murderer. With an S. There we go. Alright. Exact count of one murderer. Still remaining innocents. Detective, exact count 1. So let's go to our team manager. Put in TD murder. Drop the mic setting. Alright. There's a good chance that was just like bad chance for something. So let's go ahead and just kind of do that, but again. Innocent. Mike? Mike? Why are there so many mics? Yeah, something must have broke there. Because it was basically assigning Mike the way that it was supposed to assign Trader. Which I find to be odd. Well, let's look at our team manager. Random spawn, IDs. Yeah, get IDs for game. Alright. Mike was a percent chance character. Percent chance rolls are handled after exact count rolls. Percent chance rolls should be after fill remaining. Let's see. Right now, percent chance. Grabs the index for that. I need to comment my code better. Wait, no. They were a percent chance replace roll, not a percent chance roll. Percent chance replace is handled at the end. Replace ID. Existing ID. So it tries to find the ID of the thing it's trying to replace. Okay. Some of my math is probably wrong here. I won't work on this right now, but I will note that. Causing some issues. Fix! Exclamation point. Alright. Let's go back to Unity. Eventually. There we go. We can build and reload. And we'll just kind of sit here until it successfully reloads. The one thing I haven't actually done yet, technically, is a handheld weapon. So we'll probably just... Do I actually make a handheld weapon for now? Because all of the weapons in this so far have been... they've just been guns. Alright. Innocent. Detective. Innocent. Detective. Detective. And nothing. Crap. Okay, we erred. We erred during assign roles for team manager, role teams, assignable roles. So team manager failed because it's traitor and is supposed to be murderer. Alright, that's one of the reasons why I want to have this cleaned up in the future. So it's not just you writing in a bunch of words. Because errors like that can appear and accumulate quite quickly. Alright. Queue in. Alright, start game. Alright, we have a murderer. We have an innocent. We have the detective. And another innocent. Alright, however, I'm noticing that only the game owner sees that there are things here, which is incorrect. Let's see, prop spawner. We want our clue item to talk to the clue spawner. this all should work, which means I think game state changed isn't handling its callback correct. So if we go to our base game system, how are we handling that? Notify listeners. Okay, yeah. So this is only during the setting phase. What we need to do is cache the previous game state and change it on deserialization. So private game state, previous game state, previous state. Then we want. Do we not have a deserialize it in here? We do not yet. Okay, let's go right up here. Deserialize if previous state does not equal state. Previous state equals state. Come on, there we go. And notify listeners. But if I do this, I should be able to get a synced weapon. Okay, it took a while to show up, but it did work. Yeah, I guess the game ended, which makes sense. We don't actually have post-game built into the timer yet. So it might make sense to also have the spawner resets during lobby. Yeah, okay. Alright, with those fixes. Remember to drink water. I've swapped to a standing pose at my desk, so I'm getting in some movements, but make sure you're getting in some for yourself. Alright. Build and reload. We've got 30 minutes left here, so if this ends up working, I guess I can dedicate the rest of that to making a handheld weapon. I'm not entirely sure what a handheld weapon in VRChat should be like. You can probably click it as active for a second. But it's been so long since I've played Murder, I don't remember what people expect it to be like. Okay, this is still not showing up for other players. Human reigning innocence exists at the same time as murders. Okay, that's just a log for the game. Trying to close out. Ignoring tri-set owner on temp because I'm not entirely sure what is incorrect here, because I'm not getting any logged errors. It's just not doing anything for non-owners. So base game system, notify listeners. Notified listeners is called during on deserialization, so when other people receive the data from this, This is a net armory behavior, which means it is in fact synced. Oh, I just not been syncing state at all? I haven't synced state yet. Oh, okay. Well, that would sure do it. Odd, but like, sure, whatever. Oops. Oh, wait. Well, then reload. Oh, there we go. A little crack in the neck. Yeah, I might have to... I'm just trying to think how using a handheld weapon in VR works in general. Because most of what I remember is that it's just a little finicky. Though, maybe murder is just like click to kill anyway. I don't actually know. Yo, okay, everyone's seeing it now. So if I bonk, 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 that gets me a gun. And all of these players should be able to... Okay, yeah, there's a little bit of a delay there since the owner is the one doing it. Okay. Well, which one of these is the murderer? Okay. Yeah, so should just be able to end the game by shooting them a bunch. Game completion check passed. Okay. Let's see, game system, TTT. Yeah, we have a lot of logging in here. Check for game completion. We don't actually want you to be doing any of this if you're not the game owner. If game system is owner, return and invert. Yeah, and right now, end game isn't going into the post game at all. It's just going directly into lobby. Okay. I think this is working. We should probably do a post round as well. I think I'm going to move some of this stuff around. I think we should have our state machine in the root game system and have it called sub functions for other stuff. Start game, end game, set game. Alright. Yep, we can just do our update function here. Steal our round duration, put that in the base setup. Check for game completion. Okay, yeah. We'll set up a bunch of mini states for this now. Detected, virtual void, state, mid-round. Just do that for all of the different states. Set, lobby, pre-round, mid-round, and post-round. Alright, I think we can pretty much just put that at the front of everything. Then what all should we break out into those? Round, that's this. Mid-round. We'll run this as well, but the other one we'll put in our PC one. Okay. Otherwise, that game system gets completely run like that. Formatting. All right. So now not every random user is trying to run the entire game machine, since it should just be the owner making declarative changes for that. End game should go to post round. It should not yeah, public void. We're gonna have two things. One, we're gonna have a end game and a cancel game. Cancel game will boot everyone straight back to lobby, and will also be what we run at the end of end game. But for now, we'll have game start time equal. How am I setting that? Networking server time in seconds. Okay. Okay, yep. End game will do this. We'll go ahead and set game state to be post round, and then we'll have our post round delay for that. Post-round duration. Okay, so ending game will go into post-round. It'll give us the 5 seconds like, hey, the game's over, and then boot us out. And total game lasts 2 minutes by default. I think that works pretty well. As long as it works. There's always the requirement with that. This has actually come along quite well. I expected to run into a few hiccups, but honestly nothing nearly as bad as I expected to. Water. Love it. Good stuff. Alright, so clue handling works. We just need a melee weapon. Which means scripts, weapons, armory, melee. Okay, well, armory gun, pull that up over here. This doesn't need to be none because of space. Okay, so we don't care about reloading, we don't care about raycasts, we just care about on-trigger enter for the player trackers. Do I have a specific armory player collision check? I don't think so. Alright, well, we'll do on-trigger enter. Require component type of VRC pickup. Let's go to our init function and we will make a reference for a private VRC pickup. That way we can know whether or not it's currently held and if it is held by you. Let's see. If utilities.is valid other return. That way we don't run into any wacky VR chat, this collider isn't real kind of thing. Where it is real, it's just not whitelisted per UDOM. Okay, so our gun raycasts for a armory entity, and we'll basically just do that, but for the other. If there's no entity, return. Let's store our damage up here. We also want to ignore if it's a local player, so entity.local return. Otherwise, we'll do There were two functions that I had for damage. There we go. There's two things that are happening here. We're showing the highlight locally, and we are attacking them. Does this have any reference to its own highlight? Yes, okay. In that case, I think I'll refactor this just a little bit. Damage entity network, so it's a bit more obvious. Public void damage entity value. I'm basically going to use the exact same format that I used for the prop spawner. Prop spawner synced. Here we go. Where I have a wrapper for that one. And that lets us have a bit more control over it. So damage entity network is just the thing that runs here, but it runs on the owner. So what we'll end up doing is just doing send custom event. We will call this, we'll call damage, or I guess just value. Won't care about the rest. Set that there. And here is where we will perform our highlight. Damage now. That way, we don't have to call damage now every time from the places that we're attacking from. It's just handled during the damage entity state. Alright, let's make a quick gun. No, not gun. This is a... Sure, let's make a sword. So another one, 1.25.1. Five, 1.2. Yeah, there we go. Alright, this is my really crappy sword. So this will be our damage weapon. We'll have a capsule collider on this. Height of 1.75, radius of 0.1. .6. That makes more sense. Alright, armory melee. Down here, get a VRC object sync. Disallow theft. And weapon sword. Now, one important thing about this actually is something that we're going to do here. We only want the bad guys to grab this weapon. So we're going to have role specific items. Granted, we have 9 minutes to pull this off. Might not pull it off today. But if we don't, shouldn't be too bad. And I'll probably work on this a bit over the next couple of days. I am getting a little bit of a blister on my finger, so maybe I'm working a little too fast. Alright, weapon, sword. Kinematic, check. We need a way to spawn an item for the imposters. You know, I won't worry about that now. I will have a thing later that lets you pick up an item only if you're a specific role, and I think that makes more sense. So let's just do a build and reload and see if we can use and damage other players with this. Right now it's set to deal 50 damage, which players have a max of 100. So let's go ahead and just get 2 different players in. Alright. Well, seems to be doing a lot of nothing at the moment. Why is that? What could possibly have caused this? What layer are the players on again? Armory players are on Armory Entity. Okay. What does Armory Entity collide with? Let's go to the physics settings. Armory Entity collides with... Wow, nothing. That's good to know. Well, in that case... how do I want to handle this from here? I think it would make sense if Armory Entity collided with pickups. Are Armory Entities triggers, or are they... Yeah, they are triggers. Okay. So, I think it should be safe to have Armory Entity collide with a pickup. I should make that work perfectly fine. The annoying thing about doing these custom collisions is that what it results in is I'm going to have to build tooling that the user locally runs in order to copy their layer stuff over for that. Alright. Well, I killed them, but we didn't get any highlights. So, I wonder what that actually means. Oh, Armory Gun is still doing its stuff here. So instead we'll do entity.damage entity. Damage. And this is 2. Okay. Alright, that's an easy fix. Alright. Let's kick this into gear here. I only got a couple more minutes, but I think that's all of the fixes I have to do. Because everything's working pretty well. There's a few additional features that we still have to do, like having pickups that are only pick-upable if you're a certain role or a certain team. which is kind of how the whole knife thing works. Join, play. Oh. Wait, who's the master? Not this guy. Not this one either. Nope. That one. Alright. Hello, Lilith. Welcome, welcome. Alright, I'm just finishing up some testing here. I've been fiddling around with getting the game state working and having some okay, yeah, it is damaging them correctly, but it's still not doing the highlight. Damage entity. Highlight damage now. That was working before I swapped to this. Oh, I bet on trigger enter is running not correctly, so we only care about this if you're the owner. So that's going to be handled by his okay. Yeah, I'll have to figure out a synced component then that doesn't handle serialization and stuff, and that can run with continuous. Since that's kind of what happens here. This is well, honestly, I think having a damaging trigger as not the root object is probably going to be for the best. And what would make most sense in that situation. I'll hit reload here. I'm not convinced this will fix the highlight problem, but it could help. Lobby. I join lobby. I join lobby. Lobby 2. Oh. Alright. Telephone. That hasn't worked at all. Alright. Well, I seem to have come up with a few more problems. This is things to look into. But for now, basically hit the end. Yeah, go back to Unity. Yeah, so we're basically there getting a murder game mode set up with this. In the future, this kind of like team game match thing should be really easy to set up because we have all the tools. It's just who's the team left alive at the end, and here's the props you can use in the game, depending on what team you are. And that is 99% of team-based stuff in VRChat. Did you use on trigger enter VRC player API? No, I am actually using on trigger enter for my armory entity, which is a local tracker for stuff like that. It has your nameplate and stuff, but it also has the collider that I'm using for all of those things. Yeah, not entirely sure what's causing the problem then. Would have been a good catch if that, because, yeah, that it would have made sense if that's what I was doing and I was getting those problems. Unfortunately, though, I am gonna have to dig through this a bit more. It is funny, it's been a hot minute since I've worked with a lot of this stuff, and I may have just kind of like been cramming along with it, but it was a lot of, oh god, how did I do this a month ago when I wrote this code? I need to comment more. I need to comment in my code more. But yeah, thanks for, excuse me. Thanks to everyone who showed up. I'll probably work on this a little bit more and hopefully get a prototypable demo out this weekend. I was hoping to get it done by the end of today, but there's still a few things that we're going to have to fiddle around with before we can call it an actual game mode. Even if the game is bad, not fun, and just a shell of what it could be. But yeah, until then, it was really good having you all here, going through everything and just kind of yapping for 2 hours as I programmed. Yeah, things should resume as normal on Tuesday. Take care. Yeah, as well. Hope you're having a good day and get some good rest. Until then, see y'all next time. Have a good day.